Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
The Immortal Mask, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at Nunneley.com.
Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network, with original programming and additional comic-related content.
Seconds to curtain, folks.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Crystal McGhee.
Hi guys.
Crystal, it's good to see you again. It's I'll be honest, I thought you disappeared for a long time.
No, I'm still around, just a lurker. Hard at work for sure.
Well, that's the thing, stay out of the drama, produce product, and show back up when you've got product, right?
Exactly.
Well, let's hope that works a second time here, because I know a lot of people were excited the first time around when you did the Good Night. It was 2018?
It was 2019. And then COVID kind of it's been quite the past couple of years, because once we got out of In Demand and closed the campaign, we had a ton of COVID related issues. We dropped printers, just a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And then after that, it was just us building up issues. So we have 4 issues drawn, one campaign out, and then this latest one. So yeah, we've been busy.
All right. Well, we've got people here excited to see you. Pops has got the link in the chat here, and folks, if you're on YouTube, the link is right below the video. You can click it at any time. Go to Indiegogo, throw money at this project. If you're watching this on some non-YouTube forum, the link is right there. I'm leaving it up so you can pause, you can type, do it in another tab. Don't leave the show, so that you can hear what Crystal's got to say. Right? Okay, got it. Good. DJD Show is here. He said to hit that like button. Hit the like button. That's for me, but hit the share button so that your friends know that Crystal's on. We want them to come in and see it. I know I don't ask for mine. I've got enough subscribers. I don't care. But I want to get the word out on the people who are here. Hail to you, Kevin, out there in Monsterland, Ireland.
Hey.
It is good to see Crystal again. I absolutely agree. And Mike Walters is here. He'd like to share to like and share the live stream. Well, haven't had that much beer yet. And drop him in to say hi. And we'll remind you that at the top of the hour, when we're done here, jump over to the mic stand for everything in niche news over at Mike Walters' channel. And on Fridays, of course, when he does the comic book historic retrospective, where I sometimes join in and we read the Golden Age greats out loud, doing voices and sound
amazing.
It's just fun. It's like radio all over again. So Crystal, you're gonna have to recap me a little bit here. I mean, you pretty much told the whole story there in a 2-minute video, but I'm gonna pretend you didn't. and
No
catch me back up on the good night here. I remember Teddy Bear. I remember Reincarnated Knight and a bad guy going after a child.
Yes. So we have one of our main protagonists, Sir Alexander. He's a knight of King Arthur's Round Table. In our lore, he's kind of taking over the Green Knights, kind of like objectives role-wise, so like acquiring the Grail, some stuff like that. Okay. But he basically got betrayed by his best friend, which is super sucky, and he got pushed into the present day after getting turned into a teddy bear. And he now has a new master, which is young Jack, and he has to protect him from the evil Queen Belladonna. And she's kind of inspired by Medusa as far as like design. She does have pretty cool 6 arms. So that's pretty neat. She's kind of like from a people that are spellcasters on her world, and they can rattle off 3 spells while you only have 1 with your 1 set of hands. So okay. It makes them pretty dangerous. Yeah.
Now, is there any connection between Belladonna and Morgan Le Fay, with whom we would expect Alexander to have had some conflict with?
So yes, Morgan is a separate character. And you'll also see characters like Merlin. King Arthur is still alive. He's just kind of like in a cryo sleep because Sir Alexander's goal for getting the Grail was kind of to help King Arthur's ailing health. Happened and he got pushed forward in time. Merlin basically puts him into like a spell-induced sleep just to keep him alive. So you'll see some usual suspects from Arthurian lore pop up, as well as you might notice the new campaign is titled The Good Night, Paradise Lost. So if you guys know of the book,
John Milton,
you're going to see some, biblical characters pop up as well.
I actually have read Paradise Lost. I read Paradise Lost out of school. And that means I made myself do it for my own purposes. And one of the things that struck me, other than the fact that I was unable to get iambic pentameter out of my head for a week and a half, and I started speaking in it all the time. People looked at me like I was weird.
I bet.
But it was the technology, because Milton's not a contemporary writer. And when there was a war in heaven, it wasn't just, angels with flaming swords. He brought out cannons. He brought out howitzers. He brought out bombs. And I'm like, yeah, this is, why wouldn't they? It's an eternal place. They've got the technology of all time.
They've got the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the good stuff. And of course, it's just better to reign in hell than to rule in heaven, or rule in hell than to serve in heaven. I screwed it up already.
No worries.
The mind is its own place, and of itself can make a heaven out of hell, a hell of heaven. Yeah, I used to love that stuff. I never read Paradise Regained. I'm like, no, stop right here. Sequels are bad, even if they're Milton. Yes, Michael, it is definitely Milton. And my copy is an antique. It's one of those leather bound over cardboard things.
Dude,
with the
that's
gold
the
base.
only way. That's the only way.
So, speaking of the campaign, here it is. And You brought up the Grail a couple of times now, and the plot is him protecting the child against Belladonna, young Jack. But is this secondarily a Grail quest?
So the Grail quest is kind of, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It's a reoccurring plot. You're going to see it come up quite a few times. So there's a reason for it, as far as like the biblical characters that we'll be bringing in as well. That may or may not be tied into some Grail, reclaiming as well. And I mean, the character that's Sir Alexander's best friend, King Mikkel, he's kind of like Danish royalty, and he wanted to acquire the Grail for immortality purposes. And it's not a spoiler because we show in the first issue he's still alive in present day.
Okay.
So that
he's doing pretty well on the immortality thing without the Grail.
Yeah, so he's doing good. He's doing good. But as far as the campaign, you will notice that there are 4 days left. It'd be super cool to get it funded in 4 days, but if not, I will be extending it for another 30 as well. So no worries.
So this is the original 30 days then?
Yes.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that, because I was like, ooh, this is a nail biter.
I know.
Yeah.
That's like every crowdfunding project. You're just nervous. You're like, oh, I don't know, Chief.
So in this universe, what is the Grail? Because we've seen the Cup of a Carpenter in the Indiana Jones. We've seen the bloodline of the Sangreal in the Da Vinci Code. What are you looking at in the Good Knight?
So for our purposes, we are going with basically it was in the hands of Jesus Christ himself during their supper with all the disciples. So that's kind of similar to Indiana Jones. That's what we're going for, to kind of tie in those other aspects as well.
All right. But of course, that's still going to be a side quest because Alexander's busy.
Yeah.
How
busy
is he?
The trouble comes to Alexander. So
how busy is he really? I mean, is this like an every night Belladonna tries something different and he always thwarts her, or is this sort of one great big battle?
This is one great big quest. So basically what's happened in the first issue, I won't go into it too much. You can purchase the first issue digitally on our website, which is mysticalcomics.com. If you want to check it out, you can also get a bundle on this campaign, digital bundle or physical bundle, to kind of catch up. But basically, Jack gets kidnapped by Queen Belladonna at the very start. And Sir Alexander has to team up with some friends and foes to basically go to Belladonna's world and try to retrieve Jack. And you'll find out, we show in the first issue, but Jack's father, the boy that Sir Alexander is entrusted to, his father is half human, half dragon. So he's like a half breed dragon. And once he finds out his son is gone, Sir Alexander's gone, he jumps into action. And he's actually originally from Queen Belladonna's homeworld. And you can actually see what his father looks like if you scroll down a little bit.
Okay. And when you say homeworld, we talking like planet or dimension?
We're talking like planet.
Okay.
So let's see, you might have to go back up one page. Up or probably down. It's always hard on this.
Oh, I know.
Like up and down. I got this. Okay, so the next page after this one. Here we go. So his dad, this is like a kind of like a little bit of a flashback, or Belladonna's kind of telling some events that happened in the past on her planet. And that's her there. And the guy with the outspread wings is Jack's father, Eric. And so him and Queen Belladonna had a type of arrangement going on. And he obviously is left and he's on Earth now. So you'll kind of find out what happened with that. So Belladonna is out for revenge. And she's looking to settle the score.
The who is your creative team on this? Are you writer and artist?
So I am the creator-writer of The Good Night. My artist is Francisco Narde. He's doing the interior. He starts out on canvas, and then he will use charcoals, acrylics, stuff like that. Watercolors, just kind of like a boiling pot of a little bit of everything. Now, the colors that the colors that he did on because everything that's a flashback for the most part, and not just a retelling, is in full color. So that's kind of how we're going with that. And his colors here are digital, but all of the black, white, grayscale that's going on with the interiors, that is all on canvas or enhanced as far as Photoshop after the fact.
It's a unique approach that the past is in color and the present is bleak. The past is
very bright.
Vivid.
Yeah. Yep.
So he's like, the past is where we want to go.
Yeah, when things were nice and chill.
Yeah. And I mean, it's got a very much of a Richard Corbin look to the art here.
Oh, yes.
With the shading and the detail, and the blurring.
Also, yes, there's the guy that did the artist that did Jumanji. I'm forgetting. Chris Van Allsburg. I'm very bad with names, but he was kind of the inspiration as far as like the style is concerned, and Alex Ross, stuff like that I really like. And of course, Ninja Turtles, one of my favorite black and white comics, the original run.
I love the setup here because you've got these demonic entities from another planet. You've got dragons. You've got the Holy Grail, and everything hinges on whether or not a teddy bear can pull this off.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've had people ask if Sir Alexander getting turned into a teddy bear is more of like a marketing thing or a gimmick. And it's as far as like we kind of addressed that in the first issue where Sir Alexander, he knows that he cannot be turned back into a human just because of how powerful King Mikkel's magic is. And in our universe, there's certain people that kind of have like permanent magic. There's no way to break that. So he is fully stuck as a sort of teddy bear. And he kind of goes through in the story some ups and downs as far as his kind of just acclimating to this change.
Yeah, I mean, his future love life's out of the question now. Come on.
I know. He used to be a ladies' man, and like that's no more.
Hey, he'll get a lot more cuddles now.
Exactly.
But that's pretty much it.
And I've had people ask if he's like full of stuffing or if he has like a skeletal system.
I was going to.
He does have a skeletal system.
Okay, so if you cut him, he does bleed.
Yep. And the only way to destroy him, because he is immortal somewhat, if you fully like burned his body, he would be dead. But you can, kind of like just like a teddy bear, you can just kind of magically put him back together.
Okay, but since he's not full of stuff and he is, blood and bone, he's not really a teddy bear. He's an Ewok.
An Ewok? That's adorable.
Yeah.
Because he does have human-like eyes. Some people have asked if it's button eyes. Nope, those blue eyes that he had as, a human are still there. They're just more, I guess you could say, like animated, like a teddy bear's would be. And there's a reason for him getting turned into a teddy bear, and we kind of go over that. That's kind of like between him and his friend. It's like a personal burn.
Well, if this was being done for marketing, there would be a stuffed bear on this campaign. So, and there's not.
So cute.
Oh, if you want, I can hook you up with people that do this thing. I've made a lot of connections in my time here.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's like after the stream.
Yeah. We got more people in the chat here. Reaper is here. Glad to see you, my friend.
Hello.
Woody has also popped in. I don't know why you would sew buttons on your underwear, but whatever floats your boat and holds them up, I suppose.
Okay.
Definitely hit that like button. Thank you again. Captain Finity is here. Validity of flashbacks is key. I completely agree with that. They had to be flashback for a reason. I don't disagree with, but I understand the reasoning of people like George Lucas who say no flashbacks because it takes you back and there's like little suspense because you already know the character is going to be fine because they're in the future. But sometimes if they're done well, they can be done right.
Very
if
true.
They're done right, they're done well. Yes, he is almost Pooh-like. Pooh is now public domain, so let's go with that. Put a shirt on this boy and let's run.
Sure. That's great.
So I'm looking for
amazing.
I see the word main cover, and then I see okay, so it's just the one cover so far.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of like variant covers, stuff like that. So basically the thought process is we had multiple covers for the first issue. For the rest of the series, for the most part, unless it's an issue where there's like something big going down, and by big I mean like big plot wise, you're not going to see any more variant covers unless it's like a Kickstarter exclusive cover or something like that. You wouldn't see any additional ones.
Sure. No art prints or things like that, but there will be some stretch goals coming up here in a minute. I'm stopping because I see edits by Bonnie McGhee. So you're working with a sister-in-law?
With my mom.
Your mother?
Yeah.
Great.
My mom does this for companies full time. That's her job. So she's here lending her wonderful services, getting paid, obviously.
She's not going to take it easy on you just because you're family, right?
Nope. But you shouldn't, because I feel like that just kind of, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I feel like no matter family, friends, whatever, should be getting paid. Unless neither of you are getting paid and you're just starting out, that's a little bit different. But
you hope to get paid.
Yeah. But another good thing to bring up, because a couple people ask, who is the comic for? If you like comics similar to Conan the Barbarian, Heavy Metal Magazine, stuff like that, this is the book for you. I would say if it had like a film type rating, it would be rated R at points. We do, in the first issue, we had some giants, woodland giants. One of them got beheaded in that. We had a couple other creatures, goblin types getting cut up and stuff like that. The nastier, the better is how I like to go about that. But in this issue particularly, unlike the first issue, there is a double page spread that has some fantasy creatures and there's some nymphs, and it is an explicit page. It's nothing that you wouldn't see at an art museum. It's done tastefully. Yeah. So there's really no way to get around that. It is tasteful. story purposes as far as showing this village's way of life and whatnot. So that is there. But other than that, you're not really going to see explicit pages really pop up like that. It's really nothing you wouldn't see in an R-rated movie. Super quick.
So
just 2 pages.
Don't let the teddy bear fool you, folks, into think this is like, hey, this is great for my 8-year-old.
No, like Sir Alexander is like I like to say like a little Rey Mysterio. He's just like he's jumping around the ring. He's he does have a sword. He's slicing and dicing. He's he's going ham out there.
So is he at all cuddly around young Jack? Or is he acting against type the whole time? I mean, if you see a teddy bear, you think one thing, but he cuts somebody's head off, you think another.
So with Jack, him and Jack are very close. It's like a master-student type relationship that they have going on. And Sir Alexander is very on it as far as the Knight's Code and stuff like that. So he is very caring. But he is tough and, he's ready to throw down, essentially. So they have a very cool relationship that way.
Now, I know Jack is the master, but when you bring up a relationship of master-student, I would expect that Alexander would play the role of the master, with Jack being the student because of experience.
So as far as how this came about is that Eric basically saved Sir Alexander. And we mentioned this in the first issue. But that basically entrusted Sir Alexander. So he kind of had to do whatever he asked, within reason, people. Just as like a thank you. And Eric basically says, "Can you watch my son?" Because him and Queen Belladonna have beef, so he's always kind of been on the lookout.
All right. We do have some stretch goals we're talking about here. We got a ways to go to hit them, folks, so break out the wallets.
Spread the word, guys.
Yes, spread the word. At 10K, we get a bookmark set, which is, how many pages is this book?
So this book is 32. The last one was 64.
Yeah, I thought the last one was a big book.
Yeah.
How which begs the question, how big is the arc in total?
So the full series will be 12 issues.
Okay. That's a good round number. So for 32 pages, I usually don't need a bookmark. I can find my place easy enough. But if we get it to 20K, I do like postcards. Postcards fit nice in my little 4x6 collage frames that I can hang up and show images of different books that I have funded. So I'd love to at least make it that far.
Postcards are fun to send to family too. I go on a vacation, I'm like, here's a postcard. Here's a little alligator.
I wondered if people still did that, because I'm like, I've got collectible postcards. I'm like, what am I going to do with them? I could send them.
I don't know about everybody, but I know just our family, whenever we go on a vacation, we'll find postcards and then start sending it to family, like on the last day or somewhere like mid-trip. And then it's postmarked from, we went to, Hawaii. Here's some cards,
At 25K, we get the stickers, but at 30K, that's what I'm really eyeing. That's that enamel pin. That's a goal we're shooting
and we
for.
have the design for that, and Sir Alexander. It looks so adorable. We're just kind of waiting to show it once it gets closer to that, and if not, it'll appear on the website eventually. So, but you want it here, guys.
All right, 50K, we got performance bonuses for Francisco and George and Eric. Which would be nice because they all do great work, and they deserve a little bit more pay if you make more money on it.
Exactly.
At 100K, screw them. We're going to do something different. at 100K, you're going to get a 24-page ash can.
Yes, and the ash can is completely finished. It will center around 2 characters, a brother and a sister, that are within the world of the Good Knight. So that'll be fun.
So it's not going to be the same characters, but it's going to be in that world.
Yep, you will see some of the characters, just not all of the characters, because this is taking place at a separate time.
So, and at 200,000, issues 3 through 12 are taken care of.
Yep. Woohoo. And Francisco Nardi, he's hard at work. He finished all of the interiors for issue 3, and he's already moving on to issue 4. And last I checked, he's making pretty significant headway there. So we're chugging along, and yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yes. Just assume that it's going to work, and then come back when it does. It's amazing, how much faith can motivate something to completion. So you've got a very simple set of tiers. I like that. There's 4 of them. Hey, get the book. $25. Get the book. Shipping in November, right around the corner. So not a big long wait. $10. Get both of the books in digital. Have them right there in your hands or right there on your screen to read.
And if you get them here on the campaign, you'll actually save a couple of bucks compared to the website. But if you do want to kind of check out the book, you're not sure if you want to back the book just yet, check out the digital on our website, and you can see the full 64 first issue and kind of see how you feel with that. And then you can back if you feel led to do so.
Yeah. Narrator's voice. You're going to want the book. For $45, you can get both of them in hard copy, not hardcover, hard copy, paper. And then this, I wanted to look at this one. What is the MVP package here? You get
so the MVP package with how Indiegogo works. I just want to add in real quick. I've added that there is a reader copy, but for some reason that didn't go through or whatnot, and there's no way to change it after. But I did do a Q&A in the little frequently asked questions part that does clarify there is a reader copy as well. You're not just going to get like 2 graded comics and then nothing to read. So don't worry, guys. So you'll get a reader copy of 1 and 2. You'll get issue 1 and 2 graded, ready to go, and a challenge coin. And the challenge coin design, for right now, the design that we're looking at has Queen Belladonna on it. So if you like, some TNA and you like 6 arm chicks, that is, that's kind of what we're going for.
I write the Remo Williams books, the Destroyer series, and one of the people he goes up against is a big boobied 6-armed sex pot named Kali, the Indian goddess of destruction.
Quite a combo.
Yeah, so I'm familiar. I can relate. Get in on this, folks. Break out the wallets and do what you're supposed to do, which is fund these things.
And also, if you're unable to back it, that's completely understandable. You can always share it out. You'd be surprised, especially with the first campaign, because I'm a writer and script doctor, and I have worked on some stuff for the Big Two is like in a ghostwriter capacity. But this is my first comic project. And just starting out, I was like super new and trying to figure everything out. And just people sharing that were super passionate in the project, sharing it to other people, other kind of Comicsgate YouTubers and stuff like that, made a tremendous difference the first go around. And I've had so many people share it out, get me in touch with people on shows and stuff like that. So if you really enjoy it and you're excited about it and you'd like to see more down the line, you can always, respectfully tag people, share it around, and relevant posts.
Yes, yes. Get the word out on this. That's what the social network was built for, people. Was for selling comics. Yeah, you said you were a ghostwriter for the Big Two, and for the longest time, I didn't think that existed in comics until I think somebody said it was Dan Slott was hiring ghostwriters, and he was putting his name on things. I'm like, that's not right. I mean, I know ghostwriters exist for like the Hardy Boys and stuff.
The good thing about ghostwriting and script doctoring, which is what I do, you get paid well, but it's not building your portfolio. So I've been doing this since I was out of high school. I won a writing competition, and I just kind of fell in line with writing and script doctoring and kind of ghostwriting. But if you were to put together a resume, you really have nothing to talk about. And I'm kind of at that point where it's kind of like it's time to make my own projects and start building up my own sort of portfolio or catalog of work.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to get I guess what do you sign NDAs or something that you can't talk about what you wrote?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Big time.
A lot of the Destroyer novels in the 70s were ghostwritten, but Warren Murphy's name was on it.
Yeah, you'd be surprised because, like you were saying with Dan Slott, it doesn't happen all too often in comics, but it's more of like I'd say probably around like the early 2000s, where a lot of people were getting like, and especially now, like somebody might have 6 titles that they're working on. And I'm a pretty fast writer, but not a lot of people are, some people are really quick. Some people, it takes a little bit of time to refine those words. So it just kind of depends. And even just exhaustion. If you're doing 6 comic book titles and you're writing for all of them, and let's say Marvel or DC isn't really giving you anything to work off of, plot-wise, then you have to also come up with some of those ideas. That takes a while to brainstorm where you're going to take these characters and then also write for that. So it's eventually people will get worn out and they will call upon, the services of, somebody to come in and ghostwrite for them.
Yeah.
Just to keep them on track.
Because they're just swamped.
It happens a lot in novels, big time. Film and television, which television is more of kind of where I gravitate, where a lot of my work is. There's so much TV and movies you wouldn't believe that is, the script doctor contributing to it, or just, a ghostwriter. There's genuinely talented people, but it's just either they're having, let's say, like issues with substance abuse, alcoholism, stuff like that, or they're just swamped. They've taken on way too much and they want to get everything that they can, and now they can't deliver on everything. And that's kind of when you get called in.
I just noticed on the description here that this graphic novel is magazine sized. It's bigger than a comic book, folks.
Yeah. So if you guys have gotten your hands on any issue of Heavy Metal, it is magazine sized. It definitely lends itself well to the detailed art that Francisco has put forth for this series. So you'll see all of this like wonderful, crazy Lord of the Rings style, fights that are going on, and it's bigger format, and you'll be looking at it for a while. So it helps if it's a little bit bigger.
All right, well, folks, you know what to do. You bought. If you're watching this show, you bought things on Indiegogo and Kickstarter and Fund My Comic before. So just log in with your your ID and get in here and do this thing. Now, I just refreshed it to embarrass myself to see that nothing has changed. I would have liked to have seen something happen, but but another 30 days is coming. So we'll cross our fingers on that. Yes, all the best comic books this year are magazine sized. I hear there's a lot of plot holes out there, but you know, Sean Gordon Murphy's book isn't getting a whole lot of copies, unless you're talking about different plot holes. I was trying to make a joke, and it didn't really fly.
No,
it's too niche of a joke. Well, anyway, it's right there on Indiegogo, folks. The Good Night Paradise Lost #2. The link is right below this video if you're watching on any of the YouTube channels that we're currently simulcasting on, which includes the Critical Blast channel and the Comics Related Madness Network. We're also streaming to Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter right now. Those won't have the description, but you saw it earlier, and just for good measure, I will highlight it again so that you can pause, type, hit enter. Okay, now you're there. Crystal, thank you so much for coming on the show and reaching out to bring your book to us. I appreciate that.
no problem.
Happy to have you anytime, any issue, during the extension, whatever. You want to get on here and talk about the Good Night, you let me know. We will find you a night.
Sounds good. I appreciate
it. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We don't have a show without you guys. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. So we're always happy that you're here. And of course, while you were here, as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Later.